I made a lot of friends in Hempstead as I've been fighting that proposed Green Group garbage dump on Highway 6. Oh, let's be honest, I've made a few enemies too, but who cares? But when I stop into town some nights, I wonder why downtown Hempstead has to look like it's been evacuated for a hurricane. The movie theater, about the only business even open.
So I have been known to call the police a few times to escort me out.
Just to get to your car?
Yes, just to get to my car.
We met the owner when we wanted to find out what happened to those lights the Hempstead Economic Development Corporation talked about putting downtown, but never did. If there were lights, you could probably see the HEDC office a lot better for yourselves. Hempstead is a town of about 6,000 people. Stories about a big giant pile of trash coming isn't really good pub. That's why we question why HEDC admits they only spent $141 in the last 2 years marketing the place. It's not for lack of money. Since 2007, the Hempstead Economic Development Corporation reported taking in, wait for it, $1.6 million in sales tax money. But where the heck did they spend it? It's time for my friends in Hempstead to stand up and say, enough is enough. Time for some of the politicians to get some guts too. Speak up. You know who I'm talking about. If you drove down Business 290 into Hempstead, you know where Killian's Barbecue is. Look at that property next door. Yeah, that one. The overgrown field. It's part of what they call Hempstead Business Park 2. Since 2008, the HEDC spent $283,000 buying property around there. But wouldn't you figure if they were trying to market the business park, sell it, they would make it look nice, mow the lawn, maybe even put up a sign. I don't know, something like property for sale, paid for by taxpayers. But the only sign you see here is for some trucking company, and they don't even pay rent. Mayor Wolf, I know you've driven down that road. Why do you let that continue? Hempstead Economic Development Corporation owns another business park. Must be so busy that they need this other one, right? Wrong. Most of the first business park is just as much as an empty field as this other one is. I'm not a real estate expert, but you gotta figure the folks at the Hempstead Economic Development Corporation would find some way to maybe let the world know that they own all this real estate and want to sell it. The HEDC doesn't have their own website. Malcolm Brown's only been there 10 years, and you get busy. Time passes. But the city of Hempstead has one. Let's look at economic development. Maybe the technology director should take a second, rewrite that lousy script. Doesn't even say a thing about property for sale, or investing in Hempstead, or what a nice place it is. Oh, that technology director, the full-time guy, makes $85,000 a year in a town of 6,000 people. There's a lot of folks making good money. You ought to look at the list. For months, we've been asking for public records, trying to figure out, quite frankly, exactly what the heck Malcolm Brown does with all that taxpayer-bought property. We even threatened to go to the DA if we didn't get answers. We now know why it's been so hard to find records of people who actually bought land from the Economic Development Corporation in, say, the last 9 years. There aren't any. Really? In 10 years, Malcolm Brown has been head of the HEDC, and he hasn't figured out a way to sell a single piece of government property? Can that be true? Maybe it is true. In their annual reports to the state of Texas, the Hempstead EDC doesn't report making a penny from real estate deals for years. Of course, they don't report they bought property either. And we know they did that. We don't know what the HEDC claims they did in 2016. They haven't filed the report yet. Hey, Malcolm, it's September of 2017. Hundreds of thousands of dollars spent on vacant property. Money spent on a small road deal that benefited former County Commissioner Otis Stiers. And a bloated payroll for a town of just 6,000 people. My friends in Hempstead deserve so much better. It's time to stand up and say something. or pay the price of more empty fields.